We're on page 248 in your Bridges books, Aaron's Arrays. Yesterday, you learned a strategy how to multiply mixed numbers by turning them improper. And you can see on this page, they are using our first strategy, which means making an array. So what I'm going to do is go through the answers with you using the array, and then I will show you how to do it, turning them improper. So we've got 2 1/3 times 4 1/2. So you want to fill out the array. You've got 2 broken up, 2 1/3 broken up into 2 1/3, 4 1/4. I'm going to fill out each box. The first box is 8. The next one is 2 times 1/4 is 1/2. 1/3 times 4 is 1 1/3, or 4/3, and then turn that into 1 1/3. And then the last one is 1/12. Take all of your answers and bring them down here, add them up, and your final answer is 9 11/12. What they did was turn all of these into a denominator of 12. So if you want to do this turning it improper, 2 1/3 is saying it's the same as 7/3. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then 4 1/4 is the same as 17/4. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. And then you're going to go ahead and multiply 7 times 17, which is 119 over 12. And now you're going to want to turn that improper. Now, I'm noticing that 7 times 17 is a really big number to multiply. I guess I should have seen if I could cross cancel first. Got 7 and 4, they do not have a factor in common, and 3 and 17, and they do not have a factor in common also, so you have to go ahead and multiply out. So now you've got 119 over 12. You want to divide 119 by 12. 12 goes into 119 9 times, and then there's going to be 11 left over 12. And that's how you solve it, turning them improper. Next, we've got to solve 1 4/5 times 2 1/2. It says sketch and label an array. So over here you can see their array, 2 1/2 on top, 1 4/5 on the side. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. 4/5 times 2 is 1 3/5, or 8/5. And then the last one is 4/10. Take all of your answers, write them down here on the line. Change all of your denominators to a denominator of 10. So you would have gotten 4 5/10, which reduces down to 4 1/2. Now, if we want to do this, turning them improper, 1 4/5 is the same as 9/5 times 2 1/2 is the same as 5/2. I'm noticing right away I can cross cancel. I'm noticing that the 5s have the factor 5 in common, so I'm going to divide them both by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so that's going to make this problem a lot easier. 9 times 1 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. Now let's go ahead and turn it to a mixed number. 2 goes into 9 4 times, with 1 out of 2 left over. Down here on number 3, we're going to fill in the blanks, but you're going to use your number relationships in order to fill in the blanks. So you saw that the 7 was here. That has a relationship with the 14. So 14 to 7 was halved. So then you know you need to take the 3 1/2 and double it. 3 1/2 doubled is 7, which makes this problem really simple. 7 times 7 is 49. Down here, 32 times 2 1/4. I'm noticing from the 32 to the 16, 32 was halved. So then we need to double the 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 doubled is 4 1/2. Then you're going to go ahead and take your 16 times 4 1/2, and you're going to get 72. Last, they kind of tricked you because they made the blank first. But let's take a look at the 12 and the 15. So 12 over to 24 was doubled. So then that means we have to half the 15. 15 divided by 2 is 7 1/2. You multiply the 12 times the 15, your answer is 180. Moving on to number 4, this is a good review. You could have used any strategy that made the most sense to you. The first answer is 103.1 or 103 and 1/10. The second one is 436. Now this one was a little bit trickier. You could have used a ratio table to multiply this out. You also could have multiplied 27 times 16 and then found 1/4 of 16 and added them together. You could have also multiplied this by 100 to move the decimal out and then done your standard algorithm to multiply and then move that decimal back in. Just some strategies that you could have used. For this one, you could think of money, $30.01, take away $26.49, and your final answer is $3.52. And your last one, 1,500, you could have done 24 times 62 and then 24 times a half and added them together. A ratio table would have been another good strategy. Now I'm switching over to your home connections page 129. We've got Abby's arrays. She's setting up an array to solve 1 3/4 times 2 1/2. You can see how she set up her array here. 2 1/2, and then 1 3/4. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. 2 times 3/4 is 1 1/2, or 3/2. And then over here, 3/4 times 1/2 is 3/8. Take your answers, put them on the line. You're going to use 8 as a denominator, so switch your 1/2 to 8, or actually, you know that 1/2 and 1/2 is another whole, so that makes that pretty simple. So 2 plus 1 plus another 1 is 4, and then you've got 3/8 left over. If you did this one by turning it improper also, it's a great way to check your answer. 1 3/4 would be the same as 7/4 times 5/2. And I cannot cross cancel, so I'm going to go ahead and just multiply out. 7 times 5 is 35. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 goes into 35 4 times because 8 times 4 is 32 with 3/8 left over. It's a great way to check your answer to make sure you got them correct. All right, number 2, they're making you go ahead and draw the array for 2 1/2 times 3 2/5. Break up the numbers. You've got 3 2/5 on one side and 2 1/2 times on another. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 2/5 is 4/5. 1/2 times 3 is 1 1/2. And then 1/2 times 2/5 is 1/5. You're going to go ahead and add up all of your answers together. So 6 plus 1 1/2 plus 4/5 plus 1/5 ends up being 8 1/2. If you want to solve this, turning them improper, it's a great way to check your answer. 2 1/2 is the same as 5/2 times 3 2/5 would be 17/5. I'm going to go ahead and cross cancel. 17 and 2 do not have any factors alike, but 5 and 5 do. They both have the factor of 5, so I'm going to divide 5 by 5 to get 1 and divide 5 by 5 to get 1. So 1 times 17 is 17. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 goes into 17 8 times with 1/2 left over. If you cross cancel before you multiply, if you're able to, a lot of times your answer will be in its lowest terms when you finish.